Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And just getting ready here. I cut myself shaving. I was watching the Apple event, of course. Let me just give me 1 second here. Put this back here and this one. Yeah, maybe I can do something here to hide this a bit. Maybe not. We'll see. And is this working? Is there any sound? Hang on. 1, 2. Yeah, it's working. Good. All right. Hope everyone's doing well. Yep, I was watching Apple events and my hair's wet and I cut myself. It's amazing. I was in Germany and they gave me a cheap razor and a thing of stuff to shave with. And there was nothing, there was no gel. So I just shaved with a cheap razor and I didn't cut myself. And now I'm using this expensive oil and a nice razor and I keep cutting myself in the chin. Anyway, didn't used to do that. It's a new thing for me. Maybe I'm rushing. I don't know. So ignore that and let's get started. Nick Johnson, what's your take on holding onto collector's piece guitars? Is it worth it, or in your experience, is it a relief when you get rid of them? Well, it's a good thing to talk about because I've owned a few collectible guitars. So it's good. It's a good question we could discuss once I've said hello to everybody. Oh, okay. Patsy Smith in Suffolk, UK. Rosanna's moderating. Thank you, Rosanna. Nick Johnson, happy Monday. You too, buddy. Bid Owen, hi Aaron, good to see you here today, buddy. Bernard, waiting to hear what you're talking about. I've got no plans, but well, actually, I do have an exciting announcement for those in America. Everyone else, please put any questions you've got in the chat. Dr. McFarland, watching from Kentucky. What's happening there, buddy? This is I need to sit like this. It's really bothering me. This did it right before I went live. Kevin, South Central Indiana. Graham's in Manchester. Lee's in the Midlands working. That make a change, right? No, I'm just kidding. He works hard. So not sure if he'll have a chance to watch. No problem. Tell him to rewatch it, or tell him to have a night off and watch next week. I'm announcing a giveaway. I'll talk about that for a few minutes, and that's only for America, so he won't be able to enter that anyway, unfortunately. Rex says, good afternoon. Back at the gym. Very good. Good to hear it. Wallace, how you doing? Good to see you here, as always. Steve Cassidy. I was thinking it'd be nice to do a stream together one of these days, but I know you had those things with the internet. Let me know when you've got those resolved, and perhaps we could do something at some point. Because I've still got thoughts on Gear Street, but the thing is, I've still got videos to upload from Gear Street. And I still have thoughts coming together from Gear Street because I'm obviously I'm still waiting to see what's happening with some companies. So I was all ready to give my thoughts on Gear Street, and I'd like to do that, but at the same time, I think it makes more sense to wait a bit to see what happens. I'm just going to fix this light behind me. I want this to be a different... Oh, there we go. That's better. I like that. I'm doing a Steve... I saw Steve had these nice lights behind him. And I thought I would try and get some... I got these tower lights now. That's cool. When I first used them, I went a bit over the top. So I'm trying not to go too crazy. I don't think it suits me, but I think that's nice. Subtle. So add some color to the stream aside from the blood on my face. Yeah, let me know when you sort it out. I've dealt with that myself, and I have many thoughts on dealing with internet. I have a system. I've even considered helping local people to fix their internet. I've spent a lot of time investigating how to make the internet the best it can be. And knock on wood, I've not had issues with the live streaming. I had issues with the interface going to the wrong bit rate and causing weirdness with the sound. I've never lost a connection because of an internet connection. But now I've said that, I've just jinxed myself. Tom said, just bought a D18 Modern Deluxe because of you. Awesome. I do like the Modern Deluxe guitars. I don't know. I'm so particular now. I'm so fussy now. I've got so many thoughts now on guitars. I think the problem is I love all this YouTube stuff, comparing stuff, the community aspect of it all. I love it all. But I think the danger is that you can, you know, they say comparison is the thief of joy. The danger is that you can end up just going around the houses, you know. So if you get something and you like it, then stick with that and don't ever sell it. It's my advice, because I'm still deciding which guitars to move on and which ones to keep, and I still keep changing my mind. And now I'm just forcing myself. If I've got a guitar that I think sounds good consistently, I'm just going to keep it, because it's just, I don't think people understand. The more you do it, it doesn't get easier. You don't realize, oh, I like this. Well, you do realize I like this and I don't like that, but you also start getting more in the weeds of what you like and what you don't. Does that make sense? It can definitely be a problem. So if you're constantly just reviewing stuff like you want to do on YouTube, have a channel where you review stuff and talk about different things, that makes a lot of sense. You have to have a lot of inventory to do that. You need companies to ship out guitars for you to look at and talk about and review them in a constructive manner. But as a customer, it can get very expensive to keep going back and forth between guitars, especially if you buy new. Buying new is a bad idea. But at least buying new, you can return stuff. When you buy used, you often can't return it. That's why Guitar Center is still a great thing, because you can buy used and you can still return it at Guitar Center. So, Doctor says last keys will come in this week. So, you know, I'm just going to say it because I'm tired of this. People in the past have been known to give me a hard time for having guitars coming in a lot. And Doc McFarlane gets 2 or 3 keysels a week and no one says anything. I'm going to be a jerk and say, I'm sorry, buddy. You know, good. I mean, I'm not judging, but I seem to get a lot of backlash when I get a new guitar. So from certain people, not everyone. In fact, the people watching this stream, probably not, but other people in the comments, I seem to. And it's like that old catch-22 thing. I put recently that I've sold several guitars, and someone said, "Oh, I hope you're not in too much trouble that you had to sell the guitar." So it's like, if you're selling guitars, you must be in massive debt, and if you're buying guitars, you must be rich. But the reality is, if you're buying guitars, you're probably in massive debt, and if you're selling guitars, you probably got money because you sold the guitars. I'm sorry, I had to get that out of my system. I had to say it. It's done. All right. Wallace, how you doing, buddy? Rex is at the gym. Very good. That's where I should be. I've been bad since I got back from Germany, and I need to work on that. But there we go. No one's perfect. No one watches my channel, so no one cares. Maybe that's what it is. So maybe I should take it as a compliment and not a criticism. But I do believe in the statement that I said. I do believe that. I think people have, you know, in life when people say to you things like, "Oh, we just bought 2 new cars and we're going on vacation next week," and someone you know will say, "Oh, that's all right for them. They must be really rich." And it's like, well, now they've spent all that money, they're probably not rich. So I don't know. I've always been confused by that statement, that sentiment. He says my debt to income ratio is not very good. That is another thing with YouTube you got to be careful of. I've done it in the past. You'll use the YouTube thing as an excuse to defend buying stuff. And I just want to make it clear that this is not a spot. This is, I cut myself shaving. It looks like I'm a teenager again. So that can be. I've heard many people say that they've used the YouTube thing as an excuse to buy stuff, and then they've obviously got into trouble. I've heard a few people say that. So anyway, it's all very negative, isn't it? Let's go on to something positive instead. So let's start with Nick's question, because I thought that was very good. So I've had several collector's piece guitars. The famous one, I'm sick of talking about it, but the John Mayer OM28 John Mayer, the original 400. One just sold for 25k. One just got listed for 40k. Yeah, blah, 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 whatever. So I've been there. I've done that. I sold mine for 7. The Noel Gallagher's, I just sold them. Someone asked me what I sold. I'm not going to say what I sold them for because it's not fair on me or the buyer. I did make a slight profit on each of those guitars. Remember, when you sell through Reverb and you sell a certain amount of stuff, they will send you a 1099 now. I'm definitely going to get 1099 on that stuff. So once you factor in their, and I'm not complaining, I think Reverb are fantastic and a great service, but you do have to pay their commission. You do have to pay the tax on the profit, and you do have to pay the shipping. The shipping on the Noel Gallagher 355 for me was about $400. I only charged $75 for the shipping, and that's my fault. But so, but then just to make it be completely transparent, I sold another 5 guitars and lost thousands. So I'm probably going to break even if I'm lucky. And my new thing now is, I don't know if anyone cares, and it's not why we're here, but my thing these days is, if you go to, like, we call it CD accounts in America, and in England it's called an ISA. If you do have money, in fact, we'll talk about this. This will bleed into the question we're now on to, bleeding, yeah. We'll talk about this. Let me work that into the conversation here. So, and let me know in the chat if you've got a collectible guitar and if you're holding on to it for monetary reasons, or if it's because you like it. I think to keep anything for monetary reasons is a bad idea. I think you should keep stuff because you're going to actually use it. If you've got a guitar you don't play, that's a lot of space it's taken up for a start. You've got to look after it. You've got to humidify it. You've got to restring it. You've got to repair it. You've got to do all these things to it, refret it, all this stuff, right? So I don't think you should hold on to any guitar unless you actually like it. Having said that, if you're going to have a collectible guitar, you're probably not going to gig it. And if you do play it, you'll be careful with it. So I get that side of it too. Is it a relief? Okay, well, let's start there. It's a relief when I've sold collectible guitars, in that I no longer have to baby them. I mean, for example, the John Mayer guitar cost me $7,000, and I sold it for $7,000. I know, I'm a terrible businessman. You don't have to tell me. But I was relieved, and this is a while ago, this is before the prices went up. I was relieved to get my money back. Yes, definitely. My fear is that Mayer would do something silly. He'd say something, people get cancelled now. Like, maybe he'd say something silly, because he went through some controversy a few years ago. So I thought, what if John Mayer says something dumb and they cancel him? That was my concern. On the flip side of that, a few weeks ago, I dropped a guitar at a gig. What if I dropped the guitar? Once you break a guitar, even if it's professionally repaired, it definitely loses much of its value to the customer when you disclose it. Aside from that, I've spent hundreds a year on humidifier packs and things like that. So I was actually really relieved when that went. Of course, years later, when I heard it was now worth 30 grand, I was upset. But that's a money thing. That's like me saying, I wish I'd never bought a guitar in my life and put it all into a big savings account. I now have another 100 grand in my hand. You can't live like that, because you'd also have a boring life, wouldn't you, to be like that? So no regrets there. And then the Noel Gallagher stuff, I sold those two just before they announced the reunion tour. So that was a terrible time to sell. But again, you never know. I always say, you never know with this stuff what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen, what they're going to say, if there'll be some kind of backlash, or if the guitar's going to... Some guitars explode, don't they, in bad weather. I've heard of that happening to some of my friends. So I don't regret anything. The biggest regret I have is when I sell something that's basically mint and I lose $1,000. That's really stupid. I'm sorry. That's a terrible thing. I need to be more selective. When I get a guitar, if I need to really play it. I've been guilty in the past of getting guitars, not playing them enough, and then realizing 6 months later I didn't ever play them. I need to get a guitar and get really invested in it. That's why it's good to have less guitars. If you only have a few guitars, then when you get a new one, you can really focus on that and spend time with that and really think, do I want this guitar? I was kind of collecting for a while, and now I'm suffering from that because I'm losing when I sell them. So, I don't know the answer. I mean, look, if I'd kept the John Mayer and had that, there was some little tiny scratches on the bottom. If I'd kept that guitar and had that repaired at Martin, because I just realized you can pay Martin to repair guitars. If I'd had Martin buff out the scratches on the John Mayer guitar, and if I'd kept the Noel Gallagher guitars and I'd locked them in a vault, and when I'm 65, I'd sold them, there's a chance that I could have an extra... At that point, there's a small chance I could maybe have an extra 100 grand in my hand. But to bring me back to what I was saying about investing money, because I've just learned about this recently. Obviously, if you do real serious investment accounts and things like ISAs and high yield investment plans with financial planners and things like that, obviously you can make loads of money doing that. But even at your local bank, if you can get like a CD, a certified deposit account, or an ISA in England, something like that, you can get 4.5%, 5% interest. So the way I'm thinking about it lately, and this is why I've been selling stuff, to be absolutely honest on here, is that if I have a guitar, like, let's look at the prices. So even the Mayer and the Gallagher's that I sold, let's say that's around, I'll just pick a number, 20. That's a bit lower, but let's say 20 grand. That, for me, that 20 grand in the high interest savings account makes me happier. If I'm not going to be playing the guitars, if they're purely an investment thing, I'd rather have that money in the, actually it's more than that. So I'd rather have that money in there. And let's say we're basing it on today's prices. Let's say I had a Mayer today and it's worth 30,000 and I could get 20 for the two. Let's say I could have got 50 grand if I'd held on to them now. I'd rather have 50 grand in the savings account and in 10 years have that interest and not have to baby the guitars. And also, what if they crash in value because the players get cancelled or something happens or the guitar breaks? So I've been thinking like that. And there's also other places, of course, that are much better to invest money for 10 years. Way better, where you make even more money. So for that reason, I don't believe in buying guitars as an investment. I think it's a gamble. And this is me personally. You might disagree, and you might have made hundreds of thousands buying or selling, flipping guitars. People do. But for me, that's how I feel. I'd rather have a smaller collection of things that I use and love. Couple of showpieces, a couple of ones that I use all the time and love. And then I'd rather have the space. It also comes down to space. You've got to store guitars and everything else. I know Phil McKnight talks about he throws away the hard shell cases. He hates storing them. He's got the guitars hanging on the wall. But then with the guitars hanging on the wall, you got to make sure the room's humidified and you got to keep refilling. And then I hate it in the winter here. I do it anyway for my voice and my skin. But every day I'm refilling the humidifier. It's a complete pain in the butt. I'd much rather not have to do it. Of course, if you have someone doing that for you, if you have a house with that all built in, if you have the spare cash, if you love those guitars, then yes, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. You ask me and that's my opinion. But let me know. Yeah, let's use that as a basis of discussion. What do you think of that? Am I doing the right thing or not? It's not to say I don't miss those guitars. It's not to say I have moments where I think, oh, I did the wrong thing. But aside from all the fun and games of this guitar stuff, you also have to manage it, don't you? You have to manage all this stuff as well. So that is something that's worth talking about, I think. Having said that, Steve says, I totally use YouTube as an excuse. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people do, because a lot of people have started YouTube channels, and I've heard a lot of people say, I bought gear for the channel. Or I've heard people say, there's a new Helix and it'll be good for the channel, so I'll buy one. For the channel. That's something that I got into in the lockdown for sure. I was buying stuff thinking, well, I'll use that for a video. And of course I never did. And it all got out of hand. But Farlan says, I haven't spent 10k on any one guitar though. The ironic thing is, the two guitars I have spent 8 and 10k on, I got my money back. And the guitars that I've spent kind of 3, 4 on, I've lost loads of money. But I was silly. I also should have sold in the lockdown. If I sold everything off in the lockdown, I would have been fine. Obviously, there's a big crash right now. John says, I can't believe you sold your Noel guitars. You should have kept those two and sold everything else. But honestly, I didn't love them. I hadn't played that 355 since I got it. It was undoubtedly a great guitar with fantastic sounding pickups and way better than the other ones that I've played in my time. But I'd never picked it up to play it. It was too heavy. And then the acoustic guitar, I actually didn't like how it sounded that much. And as a big guitar, I like smaller guitars. So I wasn't playing them at all. And I'm glad I owned them. But that's why I do a lot of this stuff anyway. I like to try stuff. So I'm glad I owned them and tried them. But they weren't for me. They're not, you know, my I would take my Cole Clark over any guitar I've ever owned because I use it professionally. The Mayer for 7K. Yeah, well, at the time, that's what they were going for. At the time, the value was 7,000. In fact, some were going for less than that. I don't know why these. I'd say suddenly started going for 20 and 30. I think it's really stupid. Actually, if you want my opinion, I think it's stupid. And the problem is, even if I had one now, it doesn't mean I could get 30 for it tomorrow. Yeah, one or two have sold around the 20 mark, 25 mark. But it doesn't mean that if I had one in my hand right now, I could go online and sell it for 30 or even 20. The market is rough like that. It would certainly be worth more than 7, yes. But like I said, what if it cracked or something? That day I dropped the guitar a few months ago really opened my eyes. Because I've never dropped a guitar. But now I hear about it all the time. Mitch Gallagher just dropped his 335. And the headstock is completely shattered. And don't say it's a Gibson thing. The point I'm trying to make is he dropped the guitar and broke the guitar. So what the heck would you do? The guitar I dropped, I can't give it away. I mean, I could probably give it away, but I can't get the price that I want for it, I should say. Greg says, if I sell for a loss, I tend to think of it as I rented it. Well, that's the other thing. Yes, I totally agree. So the only bad thing with that is if you buy a guitar, sell at a loss, and you didn't play it. That's sheer stupidity and very unfortunate. If you bought a guitar and played it for a bit and then you sold it, like I've had guitars that I've gigged and then sold them very low just to move them on because the frets are worn out and I bought something new. That's fine. I paid bills with that guitar. Yeah, like you say, renting it. I basically rented it. I got value from it. But I have had some guitars that I bought, never touched, and then moved on and lost money on. That was really silly. That's just helping other musicians out, and I don't want to do that anymore. As nice as that is to do that, I don't want to be that nice anymore. That was terrible. Don't collect guitars unless you have the money. Are you buying guitars on credit? Guitars are a poor investment. They are toys. I agree. But like I said, there are opportunities. You can. I mean, I think more in the used market. We've all heard stories of people going to the thrift store and buying a vintage Martin, right? For $300 and it's worth 30,000. That can happen. That's more like a lotto. If you live life like that, I think you're in a bit of a dream myself. And I'm sure people will prove me wrong. But in my opinion, that's like buying a lottery ticket. That's not going to happen every day. Is this new? I've been talking about selling my collection for months, Andrew. I've sold about 20 and I've got another 20 to go. But I also, obviously doing the YouTube thing, I'm planning, I'm thinking I might be getting 3 in this year for videos, but that's not definite. Even so, I want to move them on. Rex says I paid around $2 for a signature Rick and a J200. $2. I love both guitars. I think he's on the treadmill. I love both guitars and I've used them many times. If I had put the money away 25 years. Okay, I don't know what you mean. I buy high-end guitars as toys, not for investment. I agree, actually. I mean, it sounds a bit derogatory saying a guitar is a toy, but it is. I mean, I like when they become work tools. So my current Cole Clark is a work tool, and I love it. And is it the best acoustic guitar? No. Is it a good acoustic guitar? Yes. Do people get too hung up on this thing of all that so-and-so guitars don't sound good unplugged? Yes, they do. I tell you what, there's a lot of guitars that don't sound that good unplugged. Question for the viewers today. I had a problem with my guitar at my last gig. It started to do some weird things. I thought it was my pedal. But the battery I was using says Duracell March 24. Does that mean my nails are terrible. Does that mean the best before date or the date of manufacture? Can someone tell me what that means? March 2024. Because the battery I just put in there says March 2028. So I don't understand. If anyone knows about batteries, perhaps you can, or can you Google it for me? Let me know, because that's on my mind while I talk. Yeah, I had some issues with my guitar. The problem when that stuff happens is I didn't know if it was the cable, because my cable went bad. The guy's fixing it, and so I used another cable that has a backup. I have backups of backups for the stuff I gig with. So I didn't know if it was the cable, the guitar, the pickup system, the battery in the guitar, or the pedal, the Voice Live 3 Extreme, because that thing gets used a lot, right? So I'm thinking it's the battery, because this is a battery that I took from the venue that had like a box of batteries. Maybe they're not the newest ones in the world. Maybe that does mean this expires March 2024, and that's why I'm starting to act up, even though I just put it in. I don't know. Anyway, the thing that sucks with gear when you have a problem and you have multiple things in the chain is you've then got to go through everything one by one and figure it out, and that's really not a fun thing to do. All right. Jack says, hello all. Hi, buddy. I upgraded from my Play Acoustic to Extreme 3. Very good. Extreme 3 is a great pedal. I'm hoping to set up some one-on-one. Oh, great. It's almost like I asked you to come in and say that, but I didn't. Hoping to set up some one-on-one consultations. Can you send me a link to get on your calendar? Yeah, so just go. Let me put the thing on the screen. Here. I don't need you to put this up there. Get in touch. AaronShortMusic@gmail.com. Send me an email with your availability, and I'll send you the prices and how it works. But I think that's a great way to do it, because I can help you customize what you're trying to do, and also go and deep dive into EQ and pickups and things like that if you need to. I'll leave it up there for now. All right. Rex says 4K would have doubled 3 times over 25 years, a mix of 50-50 stocks and bonds, but I love the guitar. Yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is, if you've got a bunch, this is my thought, my absolute honest thought. If you, and I won't, I don't like to give too much away on here. Sometimes I get more transparent than others, but for example, let's say I had a bunch of guitars over here that I'm not using, that are worth a bit of money. I'm not using them. It's much more sense to have the space, not have to look after them, and have the money in the bank. Or if there's something I really love, to get that thing, right? So that's all it is. And there's also that truth to, like, you can only play one guitar at a time. Even when I'm at home, if I grab a guitar to practice something, I'll just grab the Cole Clark from the case, because I leave the Cole Clark in the living room when I get back from the gig. And so I'll just grab that. I don't think, oh, I must grab my Martin, I don't think like that. It's like the iPhone, isn't it? The best phone you have is the one you have with you. The best camera you have is the one you have with you. Well, that's why I do get the new iPhones, because I use them as cameras for the channel. I use it for my business. I use it to book gigs. I always want the latest and greatest, fastest thing phone. And I can justify that because I use my phone all the time for business, for everything. So that I can definitely justify that, but multiple guitars, not really. Rex says, my best advice would be invest 20% of your gig income. When you reach my age, you'll have some financial security. Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm planning for the future, because when you're a freelance musician, you have a lot less to look forward to. Obviously, if you've got like a job that pays I used to be a teacher, so I had a pension coming, a very good pension. But only for a few years, and that was in the UK. I haven't got it anymore. I took it out. So if I'd been a teacher my whole life, then I could do what a lot of people do, where the gigs are basically extra cash and buy gear with it. But my gigs are also my life money, right? So let's get that balance. You got to enjoy your life, and you've also got to be sensible. Any guitars you want to buy and keep? Not really. I'm just at the stage now where once I really latch onto something and find myself using it all the time, I just got to stick with it. Like I said, my Cole Clark is not the best acoustic guitar in the world, but it sounds really corny, but it's become a part of me when I perform a gig. I'm not even going to say it's the best sounding pickup. It's probably the best sounding pickup I've played to date. Is it perfect? No. Can I still pick holes in it? Yes. Is the guitar perfect? No. When I get on stage with that instrument, do I kind of go to another level? It sounds really corny, but yes, I do. And it's very hard to explain without playing. Like if I got up there and played the song to you, you might get it. But it took me a long time to find an instrument like that, and I'm still looking for more, of course. But and not just, I don't mean just that guitar, by the way. I mean the Cole Clark thing, like the brand that they are very underrated. And I'll still put other guitars up against it, but I want companies to, send them to me. I don't want to be buying stuff to compare. Like when I've reached this level now of being happy, I see some channels just constantly showing different stuff, and that's great, and that's part of what we do. But I personally like to have benchmarks as well. I'd rather be a channel where someone sends me a guitar and says, put our guitar up against that guitar you're currently benchmarking, and let us know on the channel what you think of it benchmarked. I don't really want to just show something new every week and encourage you to go out and buy it. Not really, because I don't want to get people in trouble, in debt either. But that makes me a bad salesman, I guess. John says that is the best expiration date. Okay, good. That might be my problem then. March 2024 is well expired, isn't it? That could be why I had issues. So what I'll do is I'll just put my new battery in and try again tomorrow, and then worry about it later. Okay, that makes sense. Because the other battery is 2028, so unless Amazon are time traveling now and sending me batteries from the future, then I'm not sure. Boomer, what's up, man? Can't see the email, really? It's right there on the screen. AaronShortMusic@gmail.com. I mean, it's small, but I can make it bigger, I guess. Let me see. Oh, there's always something on here. Let's see. I guess the thing about me is I'm on my 32-inch monitor, which I love. It also means I can see the cut on my face. If you're watching on a small iPhone, you probably can't see the cut on my face, so I have to remember that stuff as well. That's 30, so I can make it 60 for a bit, just so you can see it. Oh, that's better. That is better. Okay. I could also put a border behind it. Let's do that. No. Shadow. That's quite nice, isn't it? Still hard to see. Hang on. I'm going to put a box behind it. Da, da, da. Oh no, I ruined it. Oh no. What did I do? Oh, there is a background. Oh no, I've broken it. Cancel. All right, don't worry about it. I just ruined it. I'll just tell you what it is. Look, it's all messed up. Scrolling ticker. Oh, where's that gone? It's because it said scrolling ticker. Now it doesn't. Scroll. Oh, wait. I got it. Yes. Okay. Aaron Short. I'll just say it one more time. Aaron Short Music at gmail.com. AaronShortMusic@gmail.com. And you can also follow me on social media. All right. Before I continue, let me just tell you about this giveaway. So I'm doing a giveaway. Now, look. I don't like giveaways. I think giveaways are silly because when you do a giveaway, it's a lot of work for whoever does the thing, and only one person is going to win the prize. And I've entered a lot of giveaways where I don't believe, well, I won't say I didn't believe they were real. I just said that, but I've entered giveaways where they don't really say who won, right? And I just don't know if it even happened, honestly. And also, personally, when you enter a giveaway and you don't win, it's not good, right? So I don't know. That's just me. That's why I don't tend to do them. Also, I can't get into the whole thing of shipping and does it make it there and does it get broken. So the reason I'm doing this giveaway is I think it's a giveaway that's worth doing. So you can't enter yet. I'm going to make the video about how to enter tonight when I finish this stream at 5. I'm going to then make the video how to enter the competition. But it's very good. I'll give you a little heads up. It's going to be an Elite Acoustics Gig Mix 4, which is what I use. And I'm really happy. It wasn't going to be that one. They changed it to that. And I'm really happy because that's the one that I really like the most and use the most. So one of them and one of their rechargeable pedal supplies. So total value, I think, is around 350 or something. But the point is, Elite Acoustics are going to send the price. So that's why it's America only. So I apologize about that. I know it sucks. If anyone doesn't know, I am in America. I'm going to turn this text off now. But I think it's worth doing. I think it's I think it's a great prize. It's something that I use myself. I really think it's a cool product. It's applicable to anyone watching. If you're a guitar player, a singer, doing gigs, whatever, I think someone should have this because it's why not? I'm not going to deny someone winning it, and it'll be good for my channel. I'm going to use the King Sumo website, so you'll go there, you'll put in your email, and for additional chances to win, there'll be options like subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then follow me on Instagram, follow them on Instagram, Elite Acoustics. So you do those 3 things to get or 4 things to get the most chance of winning. And the odds are you might win. If you're in America and you enter, your odds are in your favor, right? Because first of all, Lee and Rosanna can't enter, and neither can a lot of people. Again, I apologize, but you understand, right? The company in America just doesn't want to deal with shipping to the UK and the different power supply and all that kind of stuff. But that's another reason why I don't do them. But I just think it's such a good prize. I like the company. They've offered to do it. It'll help someone out there watching the channel out. So I'll post a video tonight how to enter. Again, I'm going to stress on that video very hard. Only if you're in the USA can you enter. So I'll post that tonight on my channel. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, then please do. Make sure you're subscribed and you've rung the bell. And then you'll see when that video goes up tonight. Or come back tomorrow and check the channel. You'll see that video. In that video will be the link to enter. And I'll tell you all this in the video as well. A 5-minute video, what the prize is, how to win, why you should enter. It's a good prize. Yeah, do me a favor and do follow them, Elite Acoustics. Do follow them on the Instagram as part of that, because they're a good company. They make good stuff, and it's nice that they offered. They actually offered this at NAMM in January, but I was waiting to review the new products, and the new products came out in a couple of months ago, and I reviewed them both on the channel, so you can watch those as well if you want to. But yeah, I think it's worth doing. So I don't usually do them. I don't know if I'll do one again, but just in this instance, I think for anyone in America watching the channel, you should enter the giveaway, and I'll announce the winner next Monday on the stream. It ends next Monday at 3, and the stream next Monday is at 4. So next Monday I will tell you who won, or at least their first name. All right, let's go back to questions. Yes, right. Put all your comments about no shipping to Canada and Europe and Australia. I know. I already apologized 3 times. I'm not going to apologize again. That's why I don't like giveaways. There's only one winner. People get disappointed. You have to ship the stuff, and the only reason I'm doing it is because they're shipping everything. I'm not a part of this. I'm just the middle person. They are shipping the prize, and I totally get they want to just ship out to America and not anywhere else. So, that's why I almost didn't do it, but I just think it's worth doing it. One of the American viewers can get a prize, and maybe one day I'll meet a company that want to do something worldwide. I don't know, but I just don't do them very often for those reasons. Jack says, I went to Nashville and got a Murphy Lab Hummingbird. It plays wonderfully. It was expensive, but it's got the look, the sound, and plays like butter. It was expensive, but to me, worth it. See, I like that. I actually did something similar. When I was at the Gibson garage a few years ago, after I just got the Noel Gallagher, I was literally there by coincidence about a month later, and I played some guitars that I preferred, honestly. But that's a big thing with me lately as well. As much as I love Sweetwater, as much as I love buying a new guitar online and having time to try it at home, I miss going to a store and picking something up and just thinking, oh, this is cool. Because so many times when I get a guitar online, I pick it up and I just think, no, it's not it. I'm not connecting with this. It happened with me with the Cole Clarks. I've been through a few Cole Clarks to find the one I want with the neck that I really like, the neck shape on it. Because all necks are slightly different. All guitars are slightly different. They all feel and weigh and look slightly different. I do think we need guitar stores, but I also think a lot of guitar stores are not good. They're not good, and they're more expensive, and it's not perfect. Like, I've also bought guitars from stores that I then realize I didn't like, and then you can't return them because they don't have a return policy. So, that's why I still think Guitar Center is good. You can try the guitar, you can order a new one, and you can still return it within the 30 days. I think Guitar Center, they get a lot of abuse. I don't think I think they've got a unique thing there with that, Chris says, have I tried the Mojo Tone? Yeah, so I tried that when they first announced it, and the single coil, I can now say this, that I told them the single coil version had noise, because any single coil pickup in this apartment or in most apartments has noise. I'm actually thinking about putting lace sensor gold pickups in the guitar behind me, because I hate buzz. So of course that pickup had some buzz, because it's single coil. But then they did make a humbucker version, but they didn't send me the humbucker version. I would have liked to have tried that version. So just bear that in mind. I think it's a very good system. I'm not a fan of Soundhole pickups. Surprised no one here is talking about the Baggs Hi-Fi Duet, by the way. Boomer, no one's talking about it. Interesting. But yeah, if you don't know, like, LR Baggs have released the video of the Hi-Fi Duet. So I'm surprised no one's talking about it. But I do think that's a good system. I think Mojo Tone makes some great stuff, and you should look into it. But that's my experience, and it makes total sense. I don't even know why it's even worth mentioning. The single coil version obviously is subject to hum and noise, so just bear that in mind. As all single coil pickups are. That's why I love. It's funny. I love single coil pickups, but I hate that buzz with a passion, and I don't like noise gates. So yeah, I watched In the Blues. He did a really good comparison with the lace sensor golds and his Fender pickups, where he put them next to each other to show the noise difference, and they're not noiseless. They're not completely noiseless. Well, not. It's funny. Electric pickups that say they're noiseless never are noiseless. There's always some noise, unless you get the Fishman Fluents, which are completely noiseless, but you have to charge them. So I think those lace sensors look really interesting, and I would like to try them. So yes, I would say look at that system, but just bear in mind what I said. Rex, do dial in acoustic guitar EQ with pickup before, or Voice i3 Extreme, or a combination of both. Hey, you're at the gym, aren't you? Do you dial in the acoustic guitar EQ? Oh yeah, you emailed me that. You just sent me an email with this. I'm going to read that email out before we finish today. I'll go a little bit later today because I started a few minutes late, and I've got to do another video after this anyway for the giveaway. So I'll finish up with your email at the end. Do you ever play I've never played a Collings. I would like to. I've played the Santa Cruz when Lee and Rosanna were here. We were impressed, but they weren't blown away. Rex, Jack Stowe, we got to see Griffin House play an entire show with a 12-string burst hummingbird. Nice. But just to clarify what I just said, I just believe every guitar is different. I really do. That comes to everything. Maton, Cole Clark, Rain Song. I've had Rain Songs I didn't like. I sold them straight away. I've still got a Rain Song now that I love. I've had Martins that didn't sound. I've had Martins I couldn't stand. Custom shops, had to get rid of them. Couldn't stand them. I've had custom shops that sound amazing. I should say had played. Couple of Cole Clarks I just didn't bond with at all. Sold them. And then a couple that I've absolutely adored to death. I really believe a guitar is only as good as that guitar. There's no such thing as, if someone tells you like, oh, just go and buy a D28, it's the best thing in the world. Yeah, well, the one you played was. And overall, the average may be that they are, in your opinion, or maybe in lots of people's opinions, but every guitar can sound very different. Just check out my M36 video I did a couple of years ago, if you don't believe me. That was wild. Talking Cole Clark, enjoy my... Oh, here we go. Kevin got a used, or a floor model Cole Clark FL. I think it's time for them to change the names of the guitars. but I won't go into that kind of thing. Enjoying my new FL3 RDBL and comparing it to my Angel 2. So you're doing it as well. You're comparing them. So let me ask you, let me turn this around on the viewer, okay? Because I answered this earlier on. So Kevin, you had an Angel Cole Clark and you've bought the Dread. So you had basically a Grand Performance, a Grand, what do you call it? Yeah, like a GPC style Grand Performance guitar, right? Like a Taylor body, medium-sized guitar. You had that, and now you've bought basically the Dreadnought version, okay? Same pickup system, basically, same different woods, but you've really bought them to plug them in. So why did you buy another one? Why did you feel? You know, I'm just curious, because now you're comparing them. So what's your plan? Are you going to keep the one you prefer and sell the other one? Or are you going to keep both of them, use one in different tunings, something like that? I'm just curious what your thought process is there in regards to that. But you said comparing them both, different but both, I can dial a nice tone. Best guitars out there for plugged-in sound, no pedal needed. Well, I do agree with that. So Cole Clark have a new guitar coming out that I would love to try. I'm going to ask them if they'll send me one to try and demo on the channel. I can't buy that, but might talk about that another day. It's kind of exciting what they're doing over there in Australia. And I will see them. I can't wait. I'm going to see Miles from Cole Clark in Germany at Guitar Summit in 2 weeks' time. And we're going to have dinner, I think. So I can ask him these questions at dinner. And I think he's coming to New York as well. You know what I'd love to do? I'd love to do a clinic with them or for them or with them or something. I'd love to do a clinic and talk about and demo the guitars. But I don't get asked to do such things. Sad. And I think there's some other guitars coming out as well that may put up against them anyway. So we'll see. I hear a lot of things are coming out this month. Have you heard about these things I'm talking about? I'm not allowed to say what they are, but I'm excited. I heard the other day there's a Maton coming out, which is a new Maton. New Maton, new guitar modeler. All these things I've heard about, but I daren't say anything in case I'm wrong and look silly. I'm just sitting here talking to myself now, that's why I'm rambling. I've got to stop. I'll get in trouble. But this is Guitar Month, and there is stuff coming. There's Pete Thorne said there's 2 things coming this week. That could be what I'm talking about. We'll see. I don't have them, so I don't know. Do you still use your Peterson clip? You know what I want to get? And you might think I'm stupid for saying this. I want to get the robot tuners again. I used to have... Oh my God. I had a dream about this last night. I just remembered. I got to tell you this story. So I had the first Gibson. Everyone hates those Gibson robot guitars. I had one in England and I loved it to death. It was great. It was blue. It had the robot thing. I used it at gigs. I did the tuning. Yeah, it made that horrible noise and you had to charge it. It's not, it's not ideal, but it was great. I used it at gigs. It was fantastic. I really liked it. I sold it when I moved here. But I liked that guitar. I liked that system. And I then tried the tuners on a GS Mini briefly and it didn't work out, whatever reason. But lately I'm doing a lot in different tunings. I'm doing open G. I'm doing drop D all the time. So what I tend to do these days is I'll tune down to drop D. I'll quickly take the D down to roughly the right position and then tune with my whatever tuner I have with me, which is probably the TC Helicon Voice Live 3 tuner. And then once I've done a couple like Everlong and Harvest Moon and I'm on fire, I'll do like 2 or 3 to get the most out of the fact I've had to retune. Because once you drop the D, you have to then tune everything else because everything else drops out of tune. So then I've also been then taking the A down to a G and the high E down to a D to make it open G, which is then 3 strings different, and playing Romeo and Juliet Dire Straits, and then tuning back again. See, it's a lot of effort. I kind of want that robot system again on a guitar so I can just hit a button and have it tune to a new tuning. And I was actually talking with him on the website. I was going to put one on my Cole Clark. I thought, what a great, my other Cole Clark. I thought, how cool would it be to have a Cole Clark that sounds fantastic plugged in, that tunes itself with different tunings, And obviously I'm really excited, and I can write or play in different tunings on the fly, at least at home, if not at a gig. And I went on their thing and it said that the FL3 is compatible, but then they said it might not be in the chat, and it was getting confusing. And I noticed the Cole Clark has a volute on the back, so it might not work with the Tronical tune system that you can buy from Tronical. I forgot to say that earlier. So I didn't go through with it because it's $300. I actually tried to get them to send me one for a review. That didn't work out. I might try and ask them again. But it's a bit of a hassle. There's like 20 different versions, and you got to get the right one for your guitar. So you either buy a guitar you know will work with it, especially for acoustic. It's easy with electric, but with acoustic, you've got to get a guitar that will work with it. Now, I really wanted to put them on a Cole Clark that I've already got, so I can actually just use that. That'd be great. So I need to look into it some more. It's a hassle. Their website is good, but it's too complicated, which is probably why they don't sell very many of them. But Music Is Win did a video with those tuners on his Les Paul, and supposedly it broke his headstock. Like when he tuned up to pitch, when he restrung and did the thing where it tunes up the string, the lacquer on the headstock cracked. Well, there's two reasons. One, he probably did. I don't think he used it right, because that never happened to me. And that we know that I mentioned earlier, the Gibson headstocks can be a bit problematic. They're not as strong as others. But I think that was user error. He's got millions of views on the video. I think that's really unfair to Tronical. I think I support any company that's doing something new and exciting. And okay, it's not doing as well. It's a niche product, but he's not helping their cause. I don't like the fact he did that video, actually. But I had a dream last night that I put them on the guitar and the whole headstock went probably because I just saw Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater post on social media that he dropped his 335 and the headstock broke off completely. I had that in my brain. So last night I dreamed that I was tuning up robot tuners and it broke the whole headstock off a guitar. But that didn't happen. That was a dream. It was just all in my head. So I still want them, but it's such a hassle to figure out which ones to get. And on their website, it says they're compatible, but I don't know how they will be because of the volute on the back of the guitar. So I need to phone them up, I think, and ask them about that and try to get something. I want them to send me one for a review. I think there's a market for it. I think they had a lot of damage done by Music Is Win, and maybe I can get them some more customers. But I like stuff like that when it's done properly. But do you still use the Peterson clip-on tuner? Yes, I love it. And I also like the sweetened tunings. I think they're good. So I like acoustic and electric sweetened tuning. I do think sounds more in tune. So try that out. Yeah, they're the gold standard for me. I have a couple of apps that I use, but the Peterson clip-on tuner or the pedal tuner is what I use whenever I can. Jack said, I honestly believe that instantly upped my game. Much easier to play. What was that? Jack Stowe. Oh, the guitar. Yeah. But you can buy a cheap guitar and have it set up really well. My old Cole Clark that I sold a couple of years ago was set up by my guitar tech guy, and it was really low and it was fantastic. It's the easiest playing acoustic I've ever had. He did such a great job on the setup. Now, of course, it does affect the unplugged tone a little bit. You can't have super low action and optimal tone. You just can't. But there's nothing like a guitar that plays well. A guitar that doesn't play well is almost not worth owning, in my opinion. And it sounds like you love it, so you did the right thing, Jack. You went to the place, you tried something, you connected with it, it felt great, it sounded great, you still love it. That's the guitar for you, and I would just stick with that now. That's a good place to be at. Rechargeable power supply seems a good match. My Voice Live 3 Extreme. Yeah, but be careful because it won't. The one that they're giving away won't provide enough power. The Voice Live 3 Extreme needs a lot of power with the right polarity. I didn't really want to make the video on those power supplies for them. Not because they're not good products, they are, but because I'm scared that someone's going to fry their pedals and I don't want to get the blame. Just bear in mind, whenever you use a power supply that's not from the company, you have to make sure you're supplying the right voltage, the right amps, and using the right polarity cable, all that stuff. I that whole video review for them, the first 5 minutes is just me saying, use the right cable, make sure you check with the manufacturer, don't do anything, don't fry your pedal. I'm just so scared that someone's going to break something. I mean, it doesn't happen often. I've not heard of that happening. I don't think that anyone, but it can happen, and I don't want to be responsible. And I know that Voice Live 3 Extreme needs like 1,000 milliamps. That's a lot. So it can be done. It also needs the reverse polarity adapter as well. So it can be done, but make sure you do it right, because they are also quite finicky with the wrong power supply. I have heard there's a lot of people talk about Voice Live 3 Extremes can have issues, and I've never had them, and I swear I stand by that. But I have a feeling that, I've read, for example, if you just pull the power without powering it down, that it can destroy the unit. So it's sensitive. So be extra careful with that one. Yeah, no comment, John. I already covered that 6 times now. Kevin, I emailed Cole Clark on some things and let him know Aaron Short was a big reason for the purchase. Awesome. Yeah, I asked Kevin to do that. Kevin let me know he'd ordered the guitars from my videos, and it just really helps. If you can, like with Cole Clark, I know that the CEO gets the emails, so obviously it really helps if you say you bought a couple of Cole Clarks because of the channel. I just need help. I can't keep, Cole Clark have been good to me. I mean, at NAMM, they bought me dinner, and he's going to buy me dinner again in Germany, apparently. They do appreciate me, don't get me wrong, but I would like to have a closer relationship. Like any new guitar that comes out, I'd like to have one to demo. I happily go live, play songs, do comparisons, show things, demo how I use things, but I can't, obviously I can't buy them to do that, because I'm at that point I'm kind of working for them, aren't I? Boomer said, I heard the LR Bags video. Trey Hensley played great. I'd like anyone who makes such a video to disclose the signal. I agree. That's the only thing. So LR Bags have posted their demo of the Bags Hi-Fi Duet, which is a very anticipated acoustic guitar pickup system. But a viewer did point out that at one point in the video, there's a reverb splash. When he stops playing, you hear reverb. So that means they've added reverb to the signal chain. Now, I love LR Bags. I think they're great people. And I'm a big fan of the Bags Anthem and a lot of their stuff, as you know, if you watch the channel. But I get the viewers, the person that made the comment, I get their point. If you're saying this is recorded direct and then you're hearing reverb, what else are you hearing? That's my question. Now, they probably say to me nothing. It's just some reverb, so it doesn't sound too dry. But if they've added reverb, what else did they do? Like, for me, when I say I've done a demo direct, I mean I've plugged the acoustic guitar pickup straight into the Apollo interface, and that's it. And you're hearing that straight in. The minute you start adding effects, adding reverb, so it's something. The minute you start adding effects, adding reverb, EQing, that's shaky ground. Even if you go in through some kind of EQ or preamp, it can change the sound. And I know there's an argument of, well, some people don't want to hear the direct sound. They want to hear it through an amp. I think companies should do everything. I think a company like Bags should do completely dry, maybe even provide the WAV files. I've told them provide the WAV files on your as a link to Dropbox in the video. Completely dry, straight into the interface, describing the settings of the pickup and what the guitar is and the strings and everything for the people like me and Boomer. Then a version where they have EQ'd and added reverb, because that's what we're going to do anyway. And then finally a version in the room through an amp. I think they should do 3 and outline the settings of each one. Now, it's a lot of work, and I don't really want to do that for that reason, but I think when that's your business, then you should do that for the customers. So I agree with that. Yeah, Trey's doing a lot of demos now. He's a fantastic player. Seems like a great guy. But I did make a comment that the way he's playing is not the way 75% of people will play the guitar, which it might be a wrong thing to say. I don't know. And I think my demos are too simplistic. I tend to play G major, E minor, C major, and D major, and a bit of finger picking. I think I'm too much the other way, but I don't know. Well, we all, I guess we all want to hear the demo of how we play, right? So yeah, that's the thing. I'd really like to get one. I'd really like to just do a live stream, just play a bunch of songs, honestly, and try some different things out in real time. The new bags pickup is making me consider it to my retro. Yeah, I bought another guitar with the retro style F1 Aura system a couple of years ago. Used, great sounding guitar. Probably should have kept it. Fantastic. It was one of those GPCs, mint condition from Guitar Center. Some of that Guitar Center stuff is literally mint, the used stuff. Sometimes it is just people saying, hey, I found this guitar in the closet and we're trading it in. And it sounded fantastic. It aged nicely, medium-sized guitar. But I didn't like the Aura system in it. I found it too problematic. I didn't like the sound of that one. The only thing is, if you put the new pickup in your retro, you're going to have those things in the side of the guitar. And it's not going to be a retro anymore. So, be careful with that, I'd say. If I was doing it, I'd get so basically an HD28 now is the same as a retro. So I would get used HD28 from 2017 and install the bags pickup into that if I found one I liked. All right, take care, Jack. Talk about a Blueberry LP Les Paul with a yes. I really liked it. I mean, that was me many years ago, so maybe I wouldn't like it now. I don't know. I thought it was a great guitar. Kevin says the woods on the FL has the overtones and a full sound. Angel 2, Blackwood. Yeah, Blackwood is very dry, very plain, very stiff. That is the point of Blackwood is not to move and to be great plugged in. You get an Angel with something like Rosewood and Sitka, it's going to move more, which may not work as well plugged in. So more separation of strings and more clarity with pickup. You can dial in wide range, keep them both. Okay, fair enough. I do believe in having a backup anyway. And you got a good price on the FL3. Marco, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Chris says, since we're talking about the LR bags, what do you think of the Venue DI? Anything special? I've got one. They sent me one. I do really like it. I'm so torn between. I keep seeing people like Rhett Shell post videos about. I need a tube amp because it feels different and it's easier to dial in and a digital pedal. I get it. So with the Venue DI, you've got the knobs on there too. I get that it's nice to have those. But I also think that it's nice to have digital and be able to customize it to what you want. And those two things are rarely the same thing, are they? Like it's just like the difference between a electric car and a gas car. They both have pros and cons. So I don't think it's even worth talking about anymore. But I do think the Venue DI is a great pedal, and I would definitely take it to a gig and use it. I've also found a new pedal, which I find works really, really well for acoustic. Now, again, it's fully customizable. It's very small. It's very affordable. I can't say what it is because I haven't made the video yet. But the pedal I'm talking about is very affordable, very small, very customizable. But you might not like it because it only has one or it doesn't have all the knobs of the Venue DI that you can just change on the fly. With the one I'm talking about, you'd have to program it ahead of time. So it's just apples and oranges, really. But yeah, if I was heading out tonight and the venue said bring a DI, I would take the Bags DI. It's very good, easy to use, robust, affordable, sounds good. It's got the notch, it's got the tuner, it's got the boost. Yeah, it's good. Lloyd has to know that he's selling his products to knowledgeable people. Best not to BS them. I agree. Some bags things have been a little bit kind of, and people have said too, they can be a little bit overly commercialized. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think most people that they're talking to are people like us, where we know what we're talking about, we know what we're looking for. I also think they probably think, you know, people like Aaron's going to try one at some point anyway, and he'll either like it or he won't. So, you know, and also an ad is an ad. You know, I don't expect someone to post a completely dry signal of a guitar where adding a bit of reverb would make it sound twice as good. I mean, they have got to sell product, right? I don't expect companies to deliberately go out of their way. I do think on their website, buried away, or in the forums, they could have links to files without treatment for people like us to download. In fact, that's how they could do it. They could have the main video with the processing, but direct. That's a good compromise. And then I've told them twice, or I've told them at least one time, in the description, have a link to files. 1, completely unprocessed. 2, the files from the video, but the WAV file, not the compressed YouTube file. Do they even compress now? I don't know. But yeah, you know, so you can put a WAV file into your DAW, basically into Logic. And then finally, version of, you know, maybe just the guitar in the room, so you can hear what that sounded like. Just for the people that are really technical. I don't see why that wouldn't be that much more work to do that. All right, that's great. So interesting day. I'm interested to see what these new products are coming this week, and I do have still got loads of videos to do from Gear Street, and still got some other videos to post as well. So make sure you're subscribed, ring the bell. I'm now going to sign off, have a quick cup of tea, and then make the video of the giveaway. So that'll be up tonight at some point. So do enter. You've got 7 days to enter, but only if you're in the USA. If you're not in the USA, do not enter. I'll say that in the video. If you are in the USA, definitely enter, because you're probably subscribed to me anyway. So all you have to do is put your email and click on the thing to prove you're subscribed, and follow on Instagram and them on and Elite Acoustics on Instagram. And the chances of winning are pretty high, I'd say. And that's a good prize. In fact, I had one here somewhere. It's on the floor. I'll be showing that in the video tonight. Marco says there's a Martin Rhodes series special on Thomann. Can you check it? Okay, before I go, I will. Thomann. I think I upset them earlier because they had a live stream about the Mustang Micro, and I was saying it doesn't work with acoustic pickups. And I don't think they knew that. I don't suppose when you're trying to sell a headphone amp, you really want someone to come in the chat and say that. Maybe I shouldn't have done. I was really just letting people know and trying to get some information on how I might be able to get some sort of adapter for that. Rhodes series. I keep hearing noises. Rhodes series special on Thomann. I didn't read Rex's comment. So I'm going to read his comment before I go, because I can't not read it. I cannot see the Rhodes series, Marco. If you can, okay, Marco, if you can give me the exact model number and price of the Rhodes series on Thomann, then I can tell you if that's worth looking at or not. So if you do that, I will. If you don't, I won't. And I'll quickly read out the email from our friend Rex before I log off. But first of all, I have to find it. Hang on. And he just sent it to me. Hang on. Okay, I got it. All right. Just started playing around with the Voice Live 3 Extreme. Reminds me of when I first started using my Boss GT3. Can't believe how much is packed into this thing. Yeah, that's why I love it. And how long it's been in the market without anyone coming up with something better. I agree. Many people agree. I'm just using headphones initially. Haven't plugged it into any of my PAs yet. Trying to dial in gain and volume for vocals and guitar before adding effects. That's hard to do. I feel like my voice is too loud when I record from it. But in the room, I think it's okay. So bear that in mind as well. Here's a question, right? Do you rely more on your guitar pickup or amp EQ settings in the 3 Extreme to get your guitar tone dialed in, or both? Well, the reason I've sought out the Cole Clark system is because I can plug it in and it just sounds great. That's not to say it'll work great in every room. There's no such thing as a plug and play guitar. The room affects things. The way you play affects things. The song might need less or more bass. So for me, the Cole Clark gives me a fantastic bass tone with a strong signal, and I can then make small tweaks if needed to volume or tone from the system on the guitar, which is why I like having the controls on the guitar on that guitar. I try not to use the Voice i3 for guitar tone at all. The only thing that I've done in the past is added a low cut up to like maybe between 80 and 120, depending on your speaker. And I've also cut around 2K. 2K really bugs me on guitars. I've made a narrow cut at 2K to get rid of the weird frequency I hear, but you might not hear it. And then the low cut I've done just to clean up because there's such a bassy pickup on the Cole Clark system. So I've used it. I'm getting most of my tone from the guitar, flat. I'm shaping from the guitar, and then I'm tweaking the guitar if I need to for a certain song. And then with the Voice i3, I'm only using the EQ if I desperately need to. I'm trying not to touch that at all. But like because that system has too much low end overall, I'm cutting some of that with the low cut that I mentioned. And because I hear this weird frequency around 2K with a lot of guitars, I've spoken about it before, even with acoustic guitars, I'm cutting that as well because I'm wearing in-ears, so I'm really hearing those sounds. So I hope that answers your question, Rex. Thanks to Rosanna for moderating. And yep, thanks everyone for watching. And Marco, I'm going to log out. So if I get the email from you, I'll reply if I think you should check it out. Okay. And if I don't, I won't. But yeah, I'm going to log off and make the video for the giveaway. So thanks for watching. If you're new here, subscribe and ring the bell. Have a great week. Stay tuned to the channel for tonight for the giveaway. Do enter if you're in the USA. I keep saying it. And I'll see you soon. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.
Goddamn.